Hey, everybody. Excited to be here. You want to kick this thing off?
Yeah, you want to tell us a little bit about Battleborn's first DLC operation?
I do. First, I just want to bring everybody up to speed because, Battleborn is a little bit different game for Gearbox. A lot of times we release a big game, and then we do a couple of DLCs. DLCs for Borderlands are all right? Anybody play some Tiny Tina Attack on Dragon? It's one of my favorites. But we knew when we wanted to make Battleborn, we wanted to do something bigger. It's a game that has a multiplayer component. It's a game that brings us together again with some pretty awesome co-op missions again. And we wanted to be sure as a team that we really supported that after the launch with more exciting new content. At PAX East this spring, we showed a mysterious picture of the DLC characters that would come out. We've released now 3 of the 5 characters that we talked about in that picture. Ernest, in fact, is
yesterday for everybody.
Live for everybody yesterday. You can earn him in the game with credits, so really awesome. Jump into Ernest and play that. But we know that there's some other cool content. So we put out some PvP maps, we put out characters, we put out skins, we put out some taunts. We've done weekly balance updates. We really worked on tuning the game. We've listened a lot to you guys, to our community, on what's going on there. But we know that one thing that a lot of people are really anticipating is more cool co-op missions, especially those of you who come from the Borderlands universe, but that's what that game's all about, right? So we wanted to jump in and we announced that we have these cool, we call them operation missions. We're gonna do 5 of them and we're gonna talk about the first one today. When we looked at what we wanted to do, you had a question?
So, what is so special about these? What makes these different from the story mode that we're used to?
I'm so glad you asked in almost a non-rehearsed way at all. When we want to do the operations, we wanted to take some of that great fun we had doing with the co-op missions in the main game, but we really listened to the way you guys talked about and played, watched the data, watched how you played those missions, and we wanted to do a couple of things to switch them up. So the operations are going to be 1 to 3 players, not all the way up to 5, because we wanted to tune the combat experience a little bit better, still preserve combat, but a lot of people have really enjoyed playing our game single player and jumping through, doing things at your own pace, trying out all the different characters like that, so we really wanted to preserve that as well. But we also wanted to make them a little bit shorter. A few of the Battleborn story missions we have in the main game got kind of long for some players, and while that's a lot of fun for people who like to do that, sometimes, an hour is a little bit long to sit on the couch and play through that. So we wanted to tune that up. So again, we're shooting for right around 20-25 minutes on all of these, almost like a good episode of TV. But we really wanted to take that while we're kind of making them a little bit more compact. We didn't want to lose the replayability that I think that our game has in spades. You can play all the different Battleborn characters and all of that. But we wanted to do 2 things in particular. One with gameplay, a system called Operation Points, and then also with narrative. You want to talk a little bit about what we're doing with the Operation Points?
Yeah, sure. So Operation Points are basically a new scoring system that we put on top of the game. That basically, as you increase your Operation Points, you run into higher difficulty enemies, different enemy mixes, but the reward tiers become higher as you complete the missions more and more times and get higher and higher scores.
Cool. We'll see some of that in play in just a second. We're actually going to show you a video of the mission Attikus and the Thrall Rebellion. But let me tell you a little bit what we're doing story-wise. I spent a lot of time working with, in fact, one of our PAX enforcers, Sam Winkler. Is he around here? Wave or shout, Sam. Where is he? Somewhere around here?
There he is. Stand up, Sam.
Sam now works for me, so Sam, wave again. See, just like that. And Sam we've been so fortunate to get Sam this year at Gearbox, has been writing the missions for us. So Attikus and Thrall Rebellion, Sam did all of the dialogue for Alani. Any Alani fans in here? I know there's at least one somewhere back there. Alani cosplayer. Alani, you want to stand up and wave at everybody, Alani?
Oh,
that's Alani.
Incredible.
Wow.
That is awesome.
That's really good.
That is the first one I've seen in person.
So anyway, Sam wrote and worked on this. The narrative for the operations is a little bit different. So if you know in the main game, if you played some Battleborn, one of the cool things we did is if you play with different characters, you're going to hear those characters talk in different ways about the missions. So if you're playing as one character, you'll get to a couple of lines, some dialogues, and some scenes that talk about that. We recorded a lot of dialogue, didn't we, Brock?
A fair bit, yes.
A lot of dialogue. What we wanted to do with the operations was go a little bit further with that. So every time you play the operation, you're going to get a different chapter of a story that spans multiple playthroughs. So as you play, as you go on, there's a story that will wrap up almost like a TV episode, but there's almost like a season of story in each one of our 5 operation missions. So if you really want to dig into the story, you want to hear some cool interaction between the Battleborn characters and all that, we really have that going in the operation missions. Now,
It's also really, really funny. Like some of the stuff, Sam did a great job, and the talent just killed it with the read. So I love it.
thank you.
Are we ready
Funny-
to see it in
funny
action?
Stuff. It's funny content.
Do what?
Are we ready to see it in action?
Yes, let's jump right in. Now, the one we're going to look at today, we can go ahead and roll the video. This is Attikus and the Thrall Rebellion. Attikus is a cool Thrall character in our game, and we're going to relive a little bit of his battle here. Now, Brock, we're not playing Attikus. Who are we playing on this mission?
So this is Ernest. We mentioned him earlier. He came out yesterday for everybody. He is, in some ways, he's kind of a standard grenadier character. Rocket propelled grenade launcher. Charges he can throw. He's got some interesting stuff about him that is non-typical of a grenadier. We'll get to that later.
Cool. So this is Attikus and the Thrall Rebellion, playing as Ernest. You can play as any one of the Battleborn, even on the operations. So pick your favorite, play with that. And we're playing down in a map in an area that we called Tempest Slums. For those of you who played some Battleborn, you know Tempest is the Generate, one of our factions. It's a big planet they own, and they're kind of very gaudy. They're kind of Gothic Tron, I think is what we called it. And here's a good kind of look at the skyline. We've had that idea for a while, though, right?
Yeah, so actually all the way back into like the world building phase of development, we had this idea for the slums of Tempest. And I mean, as I'm sure you guys are aware, game development can be hard, and some things you want to do, you don't get to do. So we're really excited to be able to get to do this now.
So there's a couple of things I really like about this. One, from a narrative standpoint, we get to look into the Generate Society, who are like this galaxy-conquering empire. But this gets to look at how their slaves live, the Thrall and the Undercity, how they kind of keep people down under their feet and downtrodden. But I love that you get to immediately in this map jump up on these rooftops and have this really kind of awesome jaunt across the rooftops.
Here's one of the non-standard things I was talking about earlier. If you'll notice, Ernest threw out an egg. So that egg has two different modes. So it's got an attack mode, where if you're going on an offensive spree, you can use that beacon to get increased attack speed, increased damage. It's also got defensive mode, so that way you can have increased movement speed or increased shield regen. It's pretty cool. So he's got a bit of support in there with him as well.
And again, kind of really accentuating the cool environments for the gameplay. Getting up on top as a grenadier character who's shooting and lobbing down, right? And he puts his egg down and really just kind of shells the enemy with artillery, right?
These are going to be non-stop, by the way. Sorry, everyone.
So can you tell us a little bit about the difference between main objectives and the sub-objectives in the operations?
Sure, we're gonna get a look now. If you see over there, kind of on the right side of the screen over there, you're familiar with kind of how we do it in Battleborn and in Borderlands. It's very similar. As you're playing through the game, you're gonna get main objectives. The main objectives are the big things you're gonna do to take you all the way through the final conflict in this level. In this case, Attikus in the Thrall Rebellion, Attikus has been hired by another one of the Battleborn, Umbra in this case, to go and start a rebellion among these Thrall and take the fight to the Generate. In fact, Attikus is kind of reliving this in almost a holodeck sim, and if you see what's going on with the screen right here, Attikus has kind of cast himself as almost this film noir detective. We've actually reinforced that by putting it in this kind of Sin City black and white with kind of vibrant reds effect for a little bit. And you can see the little picture of Attikus up there in the corner wearing a fedora, like you do. And he's talking about he feels like he's been put upon by the other characters, to always perform for them and to do the rebellion and all of that. So as he relives it in his playthroughs of the operations here and kind of talks through that, Attikus is really working through what it means to be a hero and what it means to kind of rise from the slums himself into heroism. So you get to kind of go on that journey with him as he kind of takes some creative liberties with that. Back to what we were talking about with the objectives. So the main objectives, you're going to walk through here. Here he's trying to rendezvous at a beacon to call some other Battleborn in, right? And we're going to get some sub-objectives in a second. Now, what's going on with those, Brock?
So I don't know. So for more of some of our more experienced Battleborn players, you might be wondering why he hasn't spent his money on his gear yet. That's because we're about to see a sub-objective come up that was going to ask him to build 2 turrets. Completing these sub-objectives can lead you to bonus operation points, as we discussed earlier.
Sure. And I think what's really exciting about that is you're mentioning a sub-objective, because, again, we've watched this video a few times.
Yeah,
you know it's coming up, but when you're playing through in the game, you have the main objective, and under every one, we have several sub-objectives that can appear, and it's random, correct?
Yeah, it's actually different every time. So there's a ton of objectives that could occur during this mission, and every time you play through, you'll get a different mix of them. So you have your ops points kind of scaling rewards, you have your different narrative moments, and now you also have different objectives every time you play this map.
Right. So here he's got the sub-objective. It's come up now. He collected some shards. It's to build the turrets, which is actually going to help him on this this main objective right here. But watch what happens when he finishes the second one. He's done it, and you see you've earned some ops points. In this case, completing a sub-objective is giving him 10 ops points. It's score that goes up to that yellow value up into the top, the yellow number on the top of the screen. The really cool thing, if you picked up what Brock said earlier, for those of you who like challenges in a game, that really like to have a game difficulty that increases and kind of paces itself with you, as the ops points go up in the game, as you complete more sub-objectives, you can actually even find ops points in chests. We all love to open chests and find stuff, so you can do that here too. As you get more ops points, the enemies are going to get slightly more difficult and eventually a lot more difficult, and even see new enemies and new things come out of there. And then at the end of the mission, when you finish everything in one of the operations, the rewards, bonus rewards you get at the end of the mission depend on how many ops points you've earned. So every time you play, you can earn 50 ops points. But every time you replay, we're going to start you at a higher level. So as you play, it's going to get, again and again, it's going to get a little bit more hard, but you're going to get better loot.
Yeah, and I believe, what is the 50 ops points is a skin? Is that right?
Yeah, at 50 ops points, you're going to unlock a skin for the character you're playing. So we have, a buttload of skins. So it's one for all the Battleborn that will have released by the time that are out here. So, again, 25, 28 skins that you can earn on that.
28 by that point.
At that point. And then there's another skin, even a kind of a classier skin that's themed kind of for this gendered area in the slums that you're going to earn at 85 ops points. You won't be able to get that one on your first playthrough, but it's something you can get later on.
And we've got another of these story moments with the cool black and white effect, too.
That's right. They really do kind of take in, again, the black and white. It takes a little bit of the story. You get a little bit of the degenerate stuff in here. Now, we're wrapping up kind of this playthrough, the video that we have for today. And here's where Attikus is, again, recounting his story of coming through the slums. Here's Attikus, the NPC in the level. You're actually partnering up with what he remembers about his action here. And we're going to introduce a boss. This is actually one of my favorite new enemies in the Battleborn DLC, and related to one of our Battleborn characters. Spoilers. Here she is.
Submit now or be scourged for your insolence! Mongrels get put down!
So there we go. That's Attikus and the Thrall Rebellion. That wraps up with Arya, one of the Silent Sisters. Yeah, Attikus and the Thrall Rebellion.
And I know that you still have some more characters coming up as well.
We do. I mean, we have not stopped working on the game literally since the day we launched. In fact, I think we've kind of been scattering some vacations here and there around there for the team, but we still have a team that's hard at work really to make Battleborn as good as we can make it and keep adding to it and keep expanding it. So we have a little tease. Also, we announced, about a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago, the fourth of those characters we started announcing back in PAX, and that's Kid Ultra.
He's really exciting. Brock, can you tell us about some of the inspirations behind him?
Yeah, so the inspirations for Kid Ultra, this is going to be a little rambly, I apologize. So like a lot of other game developers, everyone at Gearbox plays games, right? And it seems like at our studio in particular, it seems like people kind of came up like one of two ways. It was either kind of the PC side, with a lot of the Dallas-based shooters, Doom, Duke, Quake, stuff like that.
Borderlands.
And then there's a lot of people who came up kind of more the console side, right? Your Mario, Mega Man, et cetera, et cetera. And this guy is definitely inspired by what would it be like if we were to make kind of one of those old school like character-driven action games, like what would a 16-bit sprite look like if we just like fully realized them as a 3D model, right? So a lot of this guy's abilities, skills, audio, aesthetics, everything about him is inspired by stuff we fondly remember growing up.
Yeah, in fact, we only really have screenshots today, but as you guys, we're going to do probably a stream on this guy in a couple of weeks that'll really feature him. One of the really awesome things that we've done is we continue to make characters and continue to make skins for them to see how far we can push the limit to add quality to them and add that. And with this guy, with Kid Ultra, we brought in that really 8-bit. So you get 8-bit audio that comes in there and plays with them. In fact, it changes with the skins that you put on them too. So it's really cool. We kind of have themed that up. One of the cool things though is Kid Ultra in the universe is actually a toy. He was a toy. If you pay attention to Battleborn lore, we have this idea of, again, crazy AI has gone to the nth degree. And he was actually one of the Magnuses for the LLC. He was made as a toy line. And when things went bad in the war to save the last star, he was cut off from the rest of the LLC. And every other AI, like Marquis, our sniper, goes completely crazy. Minrek makes a mode where you salvage minions and all that. He is stuck into like cartoon toy universe and sees himself as a hero. So a lot of his dialogue and a lot of things, in fact, he was codenamed Sidekick in development. And he's a support character that kind of comes in and really helps with, but all of his line and all of his dialogue, he's like the biggest fanboy in the Battleborn universe. And so you're gonna get lines on that. I think his passive is actually, if he shoots a target that someone else on his team has just hit, he does bonus damage. So he is definitely the character who-
But only if he hits them second. If he hits them first, it doesn't get the bonus.
Okay, well, you get the technical details on that. But really cool. If you really want to dig down, again, into kind of the classic arcadey stuff, if you love really active support play and all of that, Kid Ultra is really, really, really cool. And again, watch for that stream in a couple of weeks. You're going to see him. You're going to see more of the details in live in motion on him. Can't wait to roll that out to you guys.
Do you have another surprise for us, Randy?
Well, as I said before, we have been so busy, and this is certainly not the end of the content we have coming out. Along with Attikus and the Thrall Rebellion, there are 4 more of those DLC missions coming out that if you got the season pass, you're going to get all of those. So along with the character and the hero token stuff that you've already gotten with there, we're going to do all of that. So there's one on Toby's Friendship Raid. Can I say the names? Oscar Mike's Battle School, Montana and the Demon Bear.
Can I say the names? And then he says the names.
say the names. And then a Heart of Ekinar is a cool one featuring Phoebe, if you like Phoebe. But we've got some really cool stuff there. We've got one more character we haven't said anything about yet, other than the strange silhouette that everybody's speculating about on the internet.
There's a bunch more PvP stuff coming as well.
A new PvP mode we'll talk about in a stream soon called Face Off. We've talked about, and another PvP mode after that coming, more skins, more taunts, a lot more content. We know you guys love content, we know that stuff, so we really wanted to end the Battleborn section of the Gearbox panel and really tell you guys how much we love you as fans, how much we love you as Gearbox fans, how you love Borderlands, you love Battleborn, you love everything that Gearbox has done. So thank you so much. So for all of you folks here at PAX, when you head out the back door, we've got a shift code for you on a card. You're gonna wanna take it. This is like a mega Battleborn shift code. This stuff it's got like 18 loot packs, including 3 legendary loot packs in there. The other loot packs are the Commander faction packs. If you play Battleborn, know what that is. You can't get those from any other way but leveling up, so it's a good way to get a bunch of those. They're going to guarantee a colorization skin for the characters and all that. And I think we also have, 5 other just skins. One for Attikus, Isaac, Wrath, Alani, and Ernest. I think those are the Hex skins or the Gold skins. I can't remember exactly which ones those were. 10,000 credits, 18 loot packs, 5 skins. You guys are banking today on Battleborn, so you get that on the way out. How about that? Battleborn!
And also for everyone watching at home on the stream, we also have a shift code for you, which should be on the stream right now, that has some of the same contents as well.
But not like our PAX people who are awesome, right? I love all the Battleborn fans. Thank you guys for being awesome fans of Battleborn and of Gearbox, and thank you for coming out today and sharing your time with us. Love you all.
Thanks, Randy.